In this video, I'll be showing you how to program a Rainbird SST sprinkler timer. So, here's the programming dial, and the first step you're going to want to do is turn it to set time. Then you'll see the time pop up in the screen, and you're going to use two sets of arrow buttons to change the time, just like that. When you're done setting the correct time, making sure that PM or AM is correct, you'll turn the dial to set date, which you'll see the year, which is adjusted using the first set of arrow buttons, and then the month and day, which is adjusted using the second set. So you have to scroll through all the days to get to the next month, but that's how you do it. So once the year, month, and day is correct, you'll see your zones. So if it's a 6-station timer, you'll have 6 zones. If it's a 9-station, you'll have 9, and if it's a 12, you'll have 12. So you turn the dial to the first station. You'll see it will say the start time, it'll say zone number, and the run time. The run time is simply adjusted with this set of arrow buttons right underneath it, just like that. And the start time is adjusted with this set, and it moves in different increments, but you set it to the right time, and then that would be the first start time. So then if you want to add a second start time, you press the button over here on the right that says second time, and then it will say off. Third should say off, fourth should say off, and go back to first, and then that'll be your start time right there. If you want to turn off a start time that you have, scroll to midnight, and then you'll see the words off appear on the screen. So the next thing you need to do is set the watering days, which is right over here where it says run days. You just press the buttons. The ones with the green lights on are water days. The ones with the green lights off are non-water days. So you just press the buttons to set your watering schedule. If you want even or odd, then you just press the button, and you'll see it'll say odd days right underneath the 8 o'clock. You press it again, it'll say even days. Or if you want a interval, you press right here, you set the interval and the start date. If you want to revert back to run days, you just press those. So this process is the same for each zone, and when you turn it to the next zone, everything will be copied over from the previous zone. So if you just set one up, you can separately adjust the run times with these buttons right here, and it'll set up like your normal sprinkler timer. So you just go through the zones, and each one can have a different run days, start times, and watering times. However, if you'd like this timer to run like a traditional program-based timer, you can set each of the zones to run at 8 o'clock, and it will automatically start the next one after the first one's finished if they're all at the same time. So once you're done setting those all up, and if you'd like to turn off a zone, then you just press the zone off button, and then you'll see off appear on the screen. Now, the next section on the dial would be seasonal adjust. On most timers, you want this to be at 100% for normal watering times, 200 to double it, and you can turn it to 0 to turn everything off. With this timer, however, you'll see it says plus 0%. This is where you'd like it to be at a normal watering times. If you want to double your watering times, then you just make it say plus 100%. Just like that. That would this would be like having 200% on most timers. You could also do minus 90%. That'll give you 10% of your runtime. Normally you'd want it to be just sitting at 0%, just like that. Then you have a rain delay setting, which will delay your system if there's been rain or if you're doing yard work, and you just use the buttons here. You can set 12 hours, 24, 36, 48, 60, or 72 hours, and when you're done setting that, you just turn the dial right to run. You see 72 hours delay remaining and the time. So after that delay elapses, the system will turn back on. In order to remove that delay, you turn back to rain delay, go down to 0 hours, turn it back to run, and your system will run as normal. You can see the information, the date that the zone will run, the start time, and the current time. If you turn the dial to off, the timer will stay off, but remember the program information for as long as the dial's in off. And the last feature on this timer would be manual. So if you see there's two buttons under here, water all zones. If you press that, make sure the dial first is in auto, then you press the button, and you'll see it's turned on zone 1 and it's running for its pre-selected runtime. If you'd like to advance to the next zone, you just press the button again, and then you can see it goes to zone 2, and zone 3 is not set, so it turns back off. And that would just run your program as normal. The second option is watering one zone only, which first you turn the dial to the zone. So if you want to run one zone, you turn it to zone 1, and you press the one zone button. You'll see it's turned on, and you can adjust the amount of time you run it by using the buttons. If you'd like to turn it off, just press the button again. And then when you're using your timer, you'd want the dial to remain in the auto position. And that is all that there is to setting a Rainbird SST timer. They've made it a very simple timer, very easy to set, and it still has a decent amount of features in it, like rain delay and seasonal adjustment.